what's up, you guys? Live here. I'm about to get into a real juicy topic, okay? So I've been reading this book. A lot of you probably have heard of it. Very few of you probably have read it. Don't even play yourself. Y'all know that y'all like having sex. It's an amazing book for one. It just opens your eyes so much and really inspires you to really focus on yourself and focus on trying to find someone for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons. And I know a lot of females who talk to guys and they're really in sexual relationships. Like, they're not in love relationships. This is actually in the book. It references this article that was written on the Huffington Post by Tracy McMillan. It talks about basically girls hooking up with guys, and why after they have sex with a guy who they just hooked up with, why they get so deep involved with that person after having sex. So in the article, she says, past a certain age, casual sex is like recreational heroin. It doesn't stay recreational for long. That's due in part to this thing called oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone that is released when a woman A, nurses her baby, and B, has an orgasm. And that will totally mess up your casual sex game. It's why you can be hooking up with some dude who isn't even all that great, and the next thing you know, you're totally strung out on him. And since nature can't discriminate between marriage material and Charlie Sheen, you're going to have to start being way more selective than you are right now. And that just hit a nerve. That just hit one of my nerves, because when I tell you, it's just a lot of women out here who I know personally who are either dealing with a guy who they don't really like, but because they're having sex with them, their sex game is what they like. That's what they like. Because before they had sex, they didn't really like the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, for another situation, I know somebody who just started talking to this guy off the street, basically, and started messing around with them. And next thing you know, this person all damn near in love with the guy. But that's neither here nor there. Like, that's the oxycontin, I guess. I mean, but I've been there, done that. I ain't even gonna act like that. I've been there, done that, and stressing myself out all because I think I'm in love with a guy, but really having sex with that guy too early is what made me, quote unquote, fall in love with that person. I'm going to continue to read from the book. It says, scratch the surface of a lot of unmarried young women and you'll find a layer of fear just below the surface. Fear of being alone, fear of not having children, fear of being judged and found wanting. Fear of being less of a woman, and fear of being inadequate, insufficient, and not good enough. Fear of not being all you were called to be by the time you think it should happen. And that, again, hit a nerve. Not for me, because, I mean, I'm only 21. And I know I have plenty of time. I see girls my age who are dealing with guys who really ain't worth nothing. I mean, what do they really bring to your life other than sex? When talking to these girls or hearing these girls talk, they are all, like, screwed up in the head over this guy. Like, girl, you're not married. He ain't about to propose to you no time soon the way you saying he acting. Like, girl, he just messing with you basically for the sex, and you probably a cool girl, but girl, what? I don't know. I just see a lot of girls my age who are sprung out over guys who they shouldn't be sprung out over. Like, girls be sprung out over a guy who ain't paying none of their bills, ain't taking them out on dates. They sprung out over guys who lying about where they at and who they chilling with. It's a mess. But this really is speaking to, like, you know, some of the older women I know who are out here messing with scrubs and bums, or out here just trying to find a husband, like desperate to find a husband. And it's like, girl, you so desperate to find a man, you're not gonna get one. Or if you do get one, he gonna be somebody who's not really the one for you, because you're so desperate and insecure that you just gonna fall for the first guy who gives you some attention. The oxycontin, honey. I chose to really want to practice the way prior to even buying the book. I'm not even finished with the book, but that was a choice for me because I found myself dealing with certain people and doing things just out of what they talk about in the book, the way instant gratification. You do certain things because of how it'll make you feel at the moment, but how will it make you feel after the fact, and after you think about what you've done and why did you do it? Should you have even done it? And I was at a point where it's like I was meeting a lot of guys and dealing with people who intentions were all in the wrong place. And I just it clicked in my head. Like something clicked. I don't know when, what time, where I was, but something clicked in my head, and I was like, I'm not about to keep giving these guys the time of day. I'm not about to give them any of my time for it to be wasted just because their ultimate goal is to have sex with me. I had completely cut, people off at this point, or I wasn't really giving them as much time as I had been giving them because I had come to this, conclusion in my head, and I was like, they're not really trying to get to know me for me and trying to, really build something with me. So why am I talking to them? In the book, the way it talks about being obedient and disciplining yourself and not giving in to instant gratification. Don't give in to the desires of your flesh for something that is going to be so temporary and just going to make you feel good for that moment, but really setting yourself up for what God has planned for you and who God has planned for you. Really building relationships with people not based off of sex, but based off of genuinely being interested in that person and who they are and what their goals are, what their morals are. And too often I see and I know a lot of people get into situations, especially sexual relationships, without knowing their goals and their dreams and if they care about their mama. Girls be laying up with guys who just are mad whack and just mad bums, and they just do it for the sex. I ain't gonna act like I'm holier than thou, like I never did that, but I've learned from those situations and I've grown from it. And I actually went to church last Sunday, and that's what my pastor was talking about. He was talking about how, God knows that we aren't perfect. He knows that we sin, but he puts us through certain situations and certain things so you could learn and grow from it. Not so you can keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And that's basically what it boils down to when it comes to these women dealing with these guys who ain't really worth nothing or don't really want nothing real with them. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same outcome. I'm not judging nobody who's older than me or younger than me. I'm just here to try to be a positive influence, especially for young girls, because I follow some young girls on social media who probably look up to me and see what I'm doing and probably think I'm doing great things, and I think that's dope, having young girls look up to me. But I look at some of the stuff that these girls put on their social media pages and everything, and I'm like, where are these girls' heads at? Lord, please help them, because I guess it goes with this generation that we're living in. It's a very sexualized generation, and for young girls, listening to the music that is popular these days and watching the shows that are popular and seeing all this stuff that's out there to see on social media, it's a lot of negative influences. And for young girls looking at it, they're looking at grown women doing these things. Hopefully one day, if I am to a point in my life where I'm just a major influence, I would choose to be a positive one. I think a lot of women, if they chose to abstain from sex, or even if you didn't want to cut out sex, at least try to change up how you date and who you date. Change where you're looking at for guys. If you're a grown-ass woman working a real job, maybe you should look for men out here who are working real jobs and have homes and good credit and things of that nature. Yeah, I just say start doing things differently, ladies, and I would recommend everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to read The Wait, because it's an eye-opener. And they even tell you, like in the book, it's a lot of people who gonna read the book and they're not gonna practice the wait. They're not gonna stop having sex. But like I said, it's a very inspirational book, and it makes you think. It makes you think about relationships and sex and intertwining those two things, relationships and sex, too quickly. And quick thing, because some people are just ignorant. The book is not like downing sex, because sex is a part of human nature, it's a part of life. And that's all fine and well. Like when you get married, you free to do whatever you want to do, have as many kids you want to have. Even if you wanted to do that before you chose to get married, that's on you. I'm not placing no judgment on nobody. Because I might not wait till marriage, but that is my plan. But it's not trying to downplay sex. So anybody who's like, I ain't gonna read that because they like talking about sex is such a bad thing. No, this is not talking about sex is a bad thing. It's talking about basing a relationship off of sex or having sex with someone before you really get to know them. That is a bad thing, because your judgment is blurred after you have sex. It just is, and that's real. So